Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Force, and here today we will be checking out Warhammer The End Times Vermintide. This is a co-op action combat adventure set in the Warhammer Universe. Well, basically it's Left 4 Dead Warhammer edition. It's probably the simplest way to describe it. That's how I saw Total Biscuit describe it the other week, and after playing it for about 8 hours now, I would say I pretty much agree. Now, that's not to discredit the game, however. It is a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. Now, what I'd like to do here in this video is just sort of take you through the basics of the game. I'm going to show you the gameplay. I'm gonna just walk you through stuff. That is a Vermintide Ogre Giant Monstrosity. Oh Jesus, I'm like cornered. Get out of the corner. Get out of the corner. Let's go try to do some massive AoE right here. Since we got a lot of enemies, that's nice. Do a bit of damage. Piss it. Well, actually, I'd like not to piss this huge dude off, if at all possible. If we could at all possibly not piss him off, that'd be great. So we're gonna talk about the combat. We're gonna talk about the different characters, the different options, things you can do. I guess first and most simply, there are, for each character, there's 5 characters in the game, and there is a melee and ranged attack for each of them. So for me in particular, I'm playing as what is known as the Bright Wizard. And Bright Wizards are all about that fire. I've got a Staff of Conflagration, and there's like a Beam Fire Staff, there's a Bolt Fire Staff, all sorts of different options that I have, but all of the characters have different options in terms of the weaponry that they've got access to. This is unbelievable. I really did not plan to start off like this. You just randomly will get invaded by boatloads of enemies, and that's the sort of thing you have to deal with. I'm going to head down here, though. We want to check if there are any sweet goodies, any surprises that we could take advantage of. Primarily, we're looking for potions of healing, of strength and speed, as well as explosives. Although the explosives I don't need so much because I've got a big AoE attack with this staff right here. The game also has gearing and stuff, and we're going to be taking a look at that later in the video after we just go through this full mission and check out the gameplay. Now, unfortunately, at the moment, not a ton of people in the game. You notice that I am playing with bots. That could change at any point, though, as players are fully capable of just joining in. At any given time, people can join mid-match. So that might happen as we're talking, as we're going along. It is certainly a possibility. All right, guys, follow me, please. Follow me, please. And watch out. I just heard a gutter runner, which are like these assassin Skaven. And there he is. Look at that. So they're going to jump on people and try to make their lives miserable. And you just have to... We just have to try to take... There he is. There he is. We got him. We got him. All right, so let's talk about the different characters. Once again, I'm playing as a Bright Wizard. Bright Wizard's got a flame staff of sorts, as well as a... oh, that's a healing from me, so I'm going to pop that real quick. As well as a melee option, which for me at the moment is the sword. Now, each one of the characters, once more, has a melee and ranged option. And they just sort of specialize in different things, but because of the loot system, it actually, you can like get different options. So you might think that the ranger here, the archer, who primarily starts off dual-wielding daggers, I initially thought she was a really good single target damage dealer, which is true with that weapon setup. However, she also has access to dual-wield swords, which then all of a sudden makes her decent at doing some AoE damage. Now, not quite as much AoE potential as me with my massive flame elements that I can toss on the ground here, but still has options. So there's variety basically for single target and multi-target, no matter what character that you play, depending on the different weapons that you use, as well as depending on the different types of attacks. So each of the melee and ranged options have both a fast and a heavy attack. So I guess a light and a heavy attack. And depending on which one you use, a lot of times it'll change the swing pattern. So you notice this is the swing pattern for my light attacks, and you chain them together and it goes in a pattern. You'll notice that arc. And then I can do heavy attacks, and my heavy attack is going to primarily be a left to right swipe, and I can chain those as well. So you notice it changes just the left or right direction. I'm going to switch to this though, and we're going to pop that up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I actually just got this staff. The staff that I had before, the heavy attack for it, actually formed a fireball in her left hand, and then she launched it out, and it sort of functioned like a grenade. But this staff that I have right now, as you can see, it forms a radius on the ground, and then it explodes, which does a bit of knockback, as well as some burning damage. So notice these guys are just catching on fire, and they're burning down. Whereas the other staff option that I had it worked as a grenade and it just exploded for a decent amount of damage right on top of whatever it hit. And yeah, and then I also saw a staff that did like beam damage, so that appears to be like a staff single target option, further reinforcing sort of what I was just talking about, how depending on the variety of weapons you use from the loot system, you can specialize differently no matter what character class you are. So yes, this is the Bright Wizard. The other classes in the game, the one that we don't have currently, because there's 5 classes, but there's only 4 people per party, so we don't have all 5 classes. The one that we don't have is the, I believe it's called the Witch Hunter, and he basically uses like a pistol and a rapier. So I haven't played with him, but I have played with all the other classes. Holy moly, we are getting frickin' overwhelmed. I'm gonna switch this up here and pop that. And then there is the classes that we do have in our party here. There is the Way Watcher, who's the ranger, elfish character, and she's the one who dual wields either daggers or swords, and then she also uses a bow for range, so really good at like ranged quick attacks in fast succession. In fact, a video on this game that I did prior to this showed off her gameplay, because she's the character that I really enjoyed playing. But as I'm starting to try the new characters, I am enjoying playing them as well. And then we've got the Dwarf Ranger, who kind of functions as the tank. Where is he? There he is. So he's got a sword and a shield, as well as a crossbow, but he can also use a two-handed melee weapon option. Again, giving variety for the characters, different play styles. It seems obvious that he would be the tank, but you could go him sort of as a bruiser style. And speaking of bruisers, the final character class is the Empire Soldier. And he starts off traditionally as a melee bruiser with a big two-handed mace here, really good at doing arc attacks. But once more, I'm assuming that he has different weapon options. Now, when we take a look at the loot system later, once this match is over, you'll see it's kind of frustrating, honestly, by virtue of the randomness. Basically, I'll play an entire match as a Bright Wizard, and then at the end of the match, we will random roll die for a chance of different types of weapons, as well as different rarities for those weapons. The problem is, I could get something that has nothing to do with the class that I've been playing this whole time. Like, I could be playing as the Bright Wizard, and then I'll random roll... I don't want to actually do this. I will then like random roll daggers or something, and then like it's kind of frustrating because you don't get to, I mean, I understand random rolling rarity or weapon type, like a beam staff over a conflag staff or whatever, but the fact that it randoms what class weaponry that you get is kind of frustrating. But once more, we'll talk about that as we get into it later on. So now that we're in some action, let's talk about the gameplay. We got the light and heavy attacks once more for both our ranged and melee. But then we also have defensive options. That comes in blocking, which you can do with your melee weaponry. All of the classes have a block option. And just depending on your class and the type of weapons that you're using, it's going to vary the amount of guard that you have. So the guard will basically absorb incoming attacks. So small attacks from dinky little characters like these, it'll absorb a single guard, or half a guard actually, as you saw there. I took 2 hits before it broke 1 guard. But there are some Skaven, the bigger ones, like the Ogre ones or the Rattling Gunner, where they will absorb a lot of guard with these big, strong, heavy attacks. In fact, there are these Legionnaire-type characters that will, with a single heavy attack, they'll break through all 3 of my guard. So yeah, so besides the guarding, you also then have the dodging option. So using the arrow keys, left, right, and back, as well as the space bar, which is jump, but used in conjunction with the arrow keys, will let you do a little bit of dodging. So that's another way that you can sort of avoid attacks and kind of keep doing your thing. All right, we're gonna keep on trucking here. So it looks like, unfortunately, again, because the servers are relatively, things are relatively small at the moment, and there's also varying degrees of difficulty. The game has, I think it's either 5 or 6, but I know it's at least 5 difficulty options, and we're playing on the middle one right now, which is normal. And then there's also hard, and I think it's like nightmare and something else, and then there's difficulties below normal as well. So that could be a problem. Maybe someone's not looking for the same difficulty gameplay mode that we're playing in at the moment, and that's that in conjunction with there just not being a lot of players in the game right now, is why we're just still stuck with bots. And then sometimes I feel like the games can get buggy. Like sometimes I'll have people join instantly, and sometimes like no one ever joins, so I think that could have something to do with it too. But it's really not that big of a deal because you're still getting the full function of the gameplay. The bots are decent, they're not amazing, but they're decent at helping you as long as you're leading the way and not derping it up yourself, you know. So besides the combat, there's the peripheral stuff. And that is going to be things like these healing potions. We also have strength and or speed potions. You can only have one of in each slot. And then explosives. So there's different types of explosives. There's different type of healings. Like there's med kits as well as potions for the healing. And then there's a strength or speed potion. You can only have one of either of those in that 4th slot. And then in the 5th slot, that's where the explosive goes, and I believe there's 2 of those as well. Now, these numbers that I'm rattling off, they're all also just in the current state of the game, so it could very well be the case that later on we're going to get more of the different types of options. I gotta cool myself down. Now, you're watching me play, you're saying, Force, you're playing as a Bright Wizard, but it doesn't really seem like you're using a lot of staff attacks. Well, that's it's quite simply because there's this overcharge mechanic that you have to account for, and if you use your magic too much as the Bright Wizard, you will literally like overheat until you eventually explode. And as you imagine, exploding, not something you want to do if you can help it. Try to avoid exploding. Okay, so we're gonna look at a lot of people here. I'm gonna pop my AoE. Actually, I don't want to use it a second time for the same reason. I'd rather let it cool off. It's really a balance. You let it cool off and then use it again. And then we get a small amount of charges when we do our single target attacks, but a large charge when I try to do this AoE. I also gotta be careful because whenever I'm channeling, if enemies hit me, they're gonna interrupt that process, and that'll force you to start sort of recharging it and whatnot. All right, I'm gonna keep on moving now, and here we go. Actually, excitingly enough, we do have a real player finally in. The Way Watcher has been replaced. The bot has been replaced by a real person. So that just means we expect a little more, you know, people who know what they're doing. And actually, another person joining in. This is thoroughly exciting. Thoroughly exciting, and they're both pretty high level. Now, this is hilarious too, because I've played this game for, like I said, about 8 hours. I'm only level 6. And we got a level 8 and a level 12, so these people really have been going at it, and they're gonna quite know this stuff quite well. In the game at the moment, there are 3 maps. Certainly expecting and hoping that there are gonna be more once the game is released. And actually, oh, here is the Witch Hunter. So one of the characters that joined to replace a bot is actually playing a class that wasn't in our party before. So this is the Witch Hunter. Looks like he's dual-wielding pistols. I didn't even know that was possible, but it looks like it is. So he's got some dual-wielding pistol capabilities. So this is one of the 3 maps, and this is visually by far my favorite. Not because I don't like the look of the other 2 maps, but because I just love the sort of how the depth of this forest. I love forest settings, and this is particularly dark of a forest setting, and I really enjoy that. I am getting attacked by a gut runner, and you need to be rescued by your team to do that. So different types of enemies. One gut runner will knock you down and stab you in the gut while and until one of your allies knocks him off. And there's also these little, I don't know if they're called trappers or something, but they basically, what they do is they put a harness around your neck and drag you off to a nearby prison. And if your allies don't rescue you, they're going to have to find you in the prison and break you out, basically. Which I believe was a mechanic in Left 4 Dead as well, people were telling me. So I never actually played Left 4 Dead, but yeah, people are telling me that that's a similar mechanic. And in fact, when it comes down to it, pretty much everyone who's has experience with Left 4 Dead has told me, and it's why I even started this video off by saying that it's basically Left 4 Dead. In the Warhammer Universe, which, hell, I'm okay with because I never played Left 4 Dead. And this is so much freaking fun. And I also believe I heard from people that this game has much more of a melee focus with a much stronger melee, which I suppose isn't surprising given the developer, Fat Shark's, prior history in making the games War of the Roses as well as War of the Vikings. Melee combat is pretty prominent in both those games, so the fact that they have this melee combat and that it's better than what we saw in Left 4 Dead once more isn't terribly surprising. Well, now what's over here? Oh, is this a tome? Is that what she's telling me? Oh, ammo. Okay, well, frickin' A, I didn't even need that. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that's the cool thing about playing as the Bright Wizard. We do have this overheat mechanic that we have to keep an eye on, but we also subsequently don't have ammo, whereas all the other ranged characters, they've got to worry about the amount of ammo that they have. And there's various pickup stations, like the chests in this game all have set spawn spots, but it's not set as to what's going to be in them. I don't know how to get over there. Oh, looks like they do. I don't know if those are medical supplies or a tome. You know, it looks like someone picked it up anyways. Looked like it was just medical supplies. The tomes and dice that you can find will increase your party's chance to get good loot. So there'll be different loot rarities from white to green to blue. There might even be more, but blues. Where the frick is the rattling gunner that's blowing me up here? Okay, we got him good. Still too early for me to use the medkit, so I'm not going to. And I haven't bothered using the potions, but as I mentioned, there's strength potions. They increase your strength. That pretty much does what you expect it to. And then there's speed potions, which will make you faster. I'm not certain if it makes you attack faster, but it definitely makes your movement speed faster. And what we have to do now is destroy these engines of war called the Doom Wheels. They're barrels that we can pick up, and we want to bring them to them. Now, the concern is that Skaven can hit you while you're carrying said barrels, and if they do, they will actually ignite and explode after some amount of time. So what will happen is you'll be grabbing stuff, running with it, and hopefully your allies are there to help you. I don't know where my allies are, though. I'm trying to keep these guys away from the barrel. There we go. That guy's helping me. I don't know. Oh, shoot. There's someone over there. Oh, my goodness. Oh, he's in a lot of trouble. I'm gonna go over there, but he's all by himself right now. Plus, we got we had a alarm set off basically, and oh shit. Looks like my allies are over there helping him, but I am subsequently all by myself right now. Oh goodness. Yeah, we don't want to split up. If we can help it. I'm gonna head on over to the team so we don't get you. It's the gutter runners and the guys who choke you out. If you split up and you're by yourself when one of them are near you, you're in a lot of trouble. I need to keep these dudes off. Oh shit, they hit it. So yeah, they hit it and then it'll explode after a few seconds. So that's why you have to try to make sure that the Skaven do not hit whoever's carrying that. I guess I can do the carrying duties right now. Oh, come on, Dennis. Yeah, we got guys over here watching the Skaven. We got someone on my back. This is perfect. So this is basically what we want. As long as they stay with me and I stay away from them, we should be good. I think we're about halfway through the map right now. As you can tell, we've been going on for a little while now. The maps are decently sized. This might be the biggest of the three in the game. You start off with this first map, which basically has you going up to a tower, and then the smallest one has you protecting a bell tower, and this third one here, set in the forest, is easily the biggest. I think on average this one takes about 20 to 30 minutes. The medium-sized one takes anywhere from 15 to 25, and the smallest one takes on average 10 to 15. So varying degrees. They basically, it just you go through objective to objective, and what the hell is going on right now? Let's go ahead and pop these guys here. You are dead. You are dead. I think the most important thing that I should talk about, I think I've covered most of the basic information in terms of the items. Here, let me just show you use an item. So here's a bomb. I can just pop it and throw it. There you go. I don't really need the bomb so much given that I have very strong AoE attacks with my staff. So, I mean, I guess I would suggest, typically there's a surplus though, but I would suggest if there isn't a surplus to give the bombs to the other characters if you're playing as the Bright Wizard, because it really does not seem entirely necessary. Oh. And we still have one more, so I will grab this one. And we will move... Oh wait, I don't even know that we need this. Yeah, we just need to leave the camp. We don't we don't actually need this at all. So I'll go ahead and keep on moving. So yeah, what I wanted to say was something besides all the information that I've covered, something that I haven't even talked about that's worth noting. This game is so fun to play. After these 8 hours, I can't get enough of it. I am having such a blast, and I want to keep seeing more, basically. Keep doing more. Oh, he took whatever was over here. All right, we don't actually need the barrels, so we're gonna keep on moving. I've got my med kit, but I don't need to heal quite yet. And we're checking all these side alcoves because they tend to have items that we could want. So any of the potions, the health, but most importantly, it's picking up the tomes. Now you'll notice our Way Watcher there in the middle, her inventory, it shows you what your allies have in their inventory, and she's got a tome there. So those are one of the tomes that will increase our chance to get good items at the end of the match. And I believe I heard someone say that there were 3 in this particular map. So if you can exit the map with all 3 for your team, then that's ideal. Okay, I don't know where the frickin'... I need to cool off, actually. You know what, I should do my med kit soon. As a matter of fact. We need to kill this gutter runner, though. We need to kill all these frickin' scavens. And I'm probably gonna do my med kit once we clear this up. It's worth noting that if you just stand in one spot for too long, enemies will just continuously come. There's no shortage of Skaven invasions, basically. They're omnipresent. So make sure you keep on moving towards your objectives. And I think actually one of the tomes are over here. Could be wrong, though. A downside to holding onto a tome, however, is that you take up a healing slot. So you have to just be aware. Last time I played, there was a tome. There it is. Got it. So it looks like they are in set locations. You can see we've got 2 of the 3. I need to actually drop back down. This is dangerous because my team is pushing forward. So if any of the incapacitating enemies come up on me, this is why you try not to split up if at all possible. So that doesn't happen. I don't even know that I need the strength potion. I actually don't know how to drop it. There might be a way, but I'm not sure. Dwarf is coming. Hopefully, oh shit, actually. If he got captured right now, we'd be screwed, because this is a part in the game, where you can't go backwards, basically. There we go. Got it. Force saved a friend. Oh, shoot. Okay, not too many. Oh, we got a gutter runner nearby. I'm gonna pop this and then cool myself off. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. Keep moving, bro. Keep moving. He wants to fight, alright. Alright, he wants to fight. And he's a real person. If it was a bot, I'd be super frustrated and I'd just probably keep running, but... it's a real person, so this is the stairway we need to go. Oh my god, dude, really? Oh, he's up there. Is he getting helped? Yes, he is. Good. Good, 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 good. Yeah, the bottom line, the game's a hell of a lot of fun to play. I've been enjoying the heck out of it. I highly suggest it as it stands. Now, as always, you want to wait until the game actually comes out and we get full reviews on the final product. But as it stands right now, I'm having a blast, and I really just can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see more levels. A little bit bummed with the loot system, which we'll be taking as soon as we'll be checking out as soon as we're done this. But that's they could fix it, and you know, this is just one man's opinion, so maybe it's not broken and doesn't need fixing. But the utter randomness of even the class stuff that you're getting is very frustrating to me. I don't need that. He's gonna heal. It's very frustrating to me because if there's a character that I really enjoy playing as, I'd like to gear him up and collect loot for that character. But to be random between the 5 and then random for the rarity, it's just a bit much for me. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Seems like a bit much for me. You get out of here, you dweebs. I just lopped off the freaking rat's head. Yeah. Burn. One thing I'm not doing that much of is doing the blocking and dodging, which is funny because I feel like I did that very well when I was playing on the Way Watcher, but right now I'm just kind of spamming it a bit, that's all. Could be a little smoother, I suppose. I could be taking a bit less damage, is I guess what I mean to say here. The nice thing that I have right now is I've got a green staff that has a nice trait to it that reduces my overcharge by 20%. So I'm actually heating up a lot slower than I normally would with a base white staff, which makes me quite happy. And I think there's supposed to be one more tome down in this direction. Uh-oh, there's a good, that's very good that they had a friend up there. Otherwise, he would have just been screwed. There's the frickin' gutter runner up there. There's also a rattling gunner. And that is a lot of damage and very painful. Can you die, please? Thank you. Alright, let's try to get the rattling gunner. There we go. Perfect. Oh, goodness. I am very far away from you. Ah, goodness, goodness, goodness. I'm going. I'm burning up too. This is bad news, bears. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get off of her. Thank you. Alright, let's cool off. And the whole team's here. All we have to do is ring the bell and stave off the invasion until the ship comes. Yeah, I'd like to actually quickly check the town, though. Yeah, I mean, we could go for the third tome. It's back there. It's really whether or not we want to... It's whether or not we want to go as a team. Or just start this thing and end the match. It's probably worth it. I mean, it's suggested, I would assume, if you know where all the tomes are, to pick them up, because the increased luck is very nice to have. I'm gonna check over here. I don't think anyone's checked over here for healing yet. So the little healing pots and stuff can be all over the place. As I mentioned, the chests in the game do have a set spawn location. What's in them is what will be randomized. And it looks like the tomes also have a set spawn location, which is good to know. I'm gonna just pop this and then we're gonna drop the tome back. There's also some healing supplies right here. Of course, I get smacked immediately after. Healing myself up, so that's freaking lovely. You Skaven, get out of here, please. As much as I enjoy the gameplay, a couple of things that are worth noting. First off, I think that the... Alright, I'm gonna start the bell. We're just gonna go. I think that the combat can get a little bit repetitive. It just isn't too much variety. There's the light attacks and the heavy attacks for both the weapons, but that's it. There's no special abilities or anything. I mean, I guess we've got the potions, which I haven't really used, but you just get like a very temporary buff. It doesn't last very long at all. It'd be cool if there was just a little bit more to the game, and maybe that's something that will be coming with the release, which I guess I should talk about that. The game's in closed beta right now. It's going through periodic tests. I think this one's only lasting like another day even. And then it's going to be launching later in the month on October the 23rd. Now the current retail price looks like it is $29.99. I believe I saw on Steam though that they've got a little bit of a sale going on if you decided to buy it early. But once more, a lot of times it's good to wait for reviews. So just keep that in mind. Do what you want obviously with your own money, but I always like to at least give out that warning, that advice, because who knows, maybe this game, as much fun as it is now, maybe this game launches and it's broken as crap for the first week, in which case you might just want to wait, you know? Can't see shit because of the freaking poison, dude. In which case you might just want to wait. In fact, I was having crashes all day yesterday. Well, not all day, I just lied to you. I was having crashes for the first half of the day. It was just very consistent. Almost every match it was crashing. So if that's still a problem come launch, it's going to be worth noting. And keep an eye on the forums, keep an eye on reviews, all of that. But it was fine the second half of the day, and I haven't had a single issue so far today. So when the game works, it's a good time. And, you know, it's just going to be one of those things, do you have friends to play with? And, secondly, if you don't, is there enough of a community in the game itself? Are enough people playing it? It's one of the struggles for indie multiplayer games, or I don't know. I don't even know if you could consider this indie as much as it is not AAA. You know, it's not a big tentpole release or anything. These games can struggle with the player base. But I think that if any game could build a player base, one based on the Warhammer Universe could, and also the combat is great. So that is also a huge thumbs up for the title. All right, and that is the end of this match. We are on the boat and headed home. Elf, please join me. Elf, please join us. Thank you very much. We are victorious. Okay, so now we get to take a look at the loot. And also a summary of what we did. So you get the difficulty bonus, the higher difficulty, more XP you're going to get. That's going to be faster leveling progression. I am now level 8, which also means I got a sword and shield on leveling up. A couple of bonus dice that we get. And here's the loot. So randomly generated possible loot that you could get. And then you roll the dice, this little chart to tell you what stuff means and chance or whatever. and whatnot. Got a couple of shiny dice, some X's, and I really don't know what any of it means. But it looks like ultimately I ended up just getting a white class blunderbuss, I believe is what that thing is going to be. So really, oh, it's a pistol thing. Okay. So really not great. Not a green, not a blue, not even a weapon that I think I'm going to be using. But hey, I did pretty damn well. 317 score, not going to complain about that. All right, so let's go ahead and actually leave this and head back to the inn. So here in the inn, I suppose this is sort of like your gathering point for your party, your base of operations. You can check your inventory, which you can look at the inventory that you have for all the different characters. There's the melee and ranged weapon. Once again, everyone has a melee and ranged option. And then there's also trinkets and headgear. I've never seen any of this stuff drop, so I don't know where and when it does. I'm assuming it's just another random thing added to the end of match loot roll. So that's another funny thing. Like, you could not even get a weapon, I guess, one time. You could get a headgear for a class you never even use. That would be frustrating, but I suppose that's what they want. They want random. It's Warhammer, so I guess dice rolls kind of make sense, right? So yeah, the different classes, different slots, the headgear, melee, ranged, and 3 trinket slots, the third of which you unlock at level 10, it seems. And the class that I was using, you just saw me use the Battle Wizard Longsword, and I was using the Torrid Flame River Staff. Now let me show you this other staff, because I mentioned, so yeah, this one makes like a ball that you can launch, and it's sort of just like a grenade. And I saw some other ones. I have since broken them down to basically craft new things, but I saw one that created like a beam attack as well, one that was a super fast attack as opposed to like, this is like a medium, I guess you could call it. And here's the forging system. So that's what I did. I fused 5 weapons together. So that's why I don't have all those staffs anymore, the old ones. I fused 5 of them together, and it randomly made me a new one, which was actually this Torrid Flame River Staff. There was also upgrading. Now, I can't do it right now because I've already done it. But essentially, the higher rarity items, like this green staff here, will have traits attached to them. Now, they come not activated, and you essentially have to use these gems to activate them. So I used a plentiful gem to activate this overcharge weapon reduced by 20%. And I'm guessing the higher rarity gem that you have, the better the trait's gonna be. That would be my assumption. Or maybe it's the higher rarity weapons require the higher rarity gems to unlock their traits. Either one of those is pretty much what I expect it to be. And then there's also a salvage button, so you can salvage stuff. What does this even do? Let me, I guess we can test it on something I don't think I'm going to be using. So we just got that. Let's salvage this, see what happens. Okay, it gives you some of these. There you go. So that's plain and simple. So salvage some white stuff, get some white gems. Salvage some green stuff, probably get some green gems. And that's basically it as far as the game stands right now. So here's the map, and at the map, this is like you can refill your ammo, but I don't have ammo. This is the map, and on the map you get to select where you want to go. So as I mentioned, there are 3 in the game at the moment. Man the Ramparts, the Horn of Magnus, which I played that in my first video that I made for this game. And then there's also the Engines of War, which is what we just saw, and then you can do randomly for any one. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, taking you through Warhammer, the End Times, Vermintide. As I mentioned, I really liked it. I hope that we're going to get a lot more maps, and I hope the player base is there to sustain this game. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.